Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back with another video from Nuxtaku. Been a while, but we have got the 50 biggest flexes in anime. He went and came back with the flexes, man. Really enjoying Annie News' biggest flexes in Isekai. They're good. Purely inspired by Nuxtaku's biggest flexes in anime, and here we've got the 50 best. So let's get into it. Goldie Roger.
King Goldie Roger.
What a dude.
For a man that died before the story started, I cannot say there's another character that flexed quite this hard to the point that he created an entire era. He lets himself get captured. He lets himself get executed in public just to stir up enough of a rage and enough of a story to say, I hid everything in one place. Whoever finds it becomes the next pirate king. This man could have died in his own bed, and he decided,
that's true. He could have. He was ill, wasn't he?
I have the biggest public execution on the face of the planet just to flex on the world government and launch an era of piracy. Absolute mad lad. Next flex.
Look this.
Introducing Master Koetsuchi from Kenichi. Now, the following flex that I'm about to tell you is probably the greatest way you could possibly train your student. So, he's teaching his student Kenichi, who's this little runt that, bro, if you're straight up going against your opponent, and your opponent's gonna be much larger than you, and you're both just pushing each other, you ain't gonna have a chance. He's just bigger than you. Basic physics, you're not gonna make it. However, if you're Master Koetsuchi, you are going to use this opportunity to practice on someone that wants to beat the crap out of him. He's standing there teaching Kenichi why the physics don't work while literally defying physics, holding onto a manhole cover with his toes, just to use this person who's trying to wound or kill him as an example.
Wow, yeah, so he's using that as a training purpose.
What not to do in a fight, which he does anyway and proceeds to win anyway because he's an absolute mad lad.
Mad lad, go ahead, lad.
Oh my god.
That's sick.
Next
flags.
Hang on now. Are you going in for a second fight?
Soma from
Food Wars.
Now, on the surface level, this just seems like, your typical run-of-the-mill anime. You got people cooking, and of course, if the food is good enough, the women get naked. And the men get naked too.
Yes.
This is an anime that preaches gender equality.
I need to finish Food Wars.
Everyone gets naked when they eat tasty food. Let's freaking go! Now, Soma comes from a pretty low-class restaurant, alright? A diner, if you will. And he's in the most impressive school of all time. People already don't like him just because he's the underprivileged one. Because they're looking down at him. He's the runt of the school. Everyone else is coming from these impressive families that own massive restaurants with Michelin stars. And he's this one bozo from a diner. Bro. They are not going to spend time with the commoner that is Soma.
Yeah, that's really isn't it? It's like, you commoner, you lowlife, you scumbag, but dude's a beast chef.
So what does Soma do on his first day in school? He goes up in front of everybody, and just for the sake of flexing on every person in the school, he says, hi, I am better than every single one.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Oh my god,
over the next few years in this school, while you all hate me, I am going to prove to you that I am the greatest chef in this entire school.
Damn.
He literally makes an enemy with everyone right off the bat so that everyone that means anything can challenge him right away to show his dominance. Next flex.
Yeah, that's sick. Oh, Konosuba.
Azuma from Konosuba.
Oh, I can't wait for this to come back as well, man. I've missed this.
Konosuba is a comedy series. Kazuma gets transported to another world. He gets his harem of women.
Yeah, he does.
Frankly, not that powerful. Now, before getting transported to this alternate world, a goddess gave him an option. He can ask for any one thing to bring to this alternate world. He could bring an epic sword. That
chooses her because she's being a bitch.
He could bring superpowers, extra levels, amazing intellect. He could bring anything he wants. And just purely because the goddess that was telling him all of this was a bitch.
Yeah.
He says, you know what?
I'll take you.
What I decided I want. Yes. It will make my life incredibly harder that I'm not going to get this crazy head start weapon in this alternate world where I have to defeat the Demon King. But I choose to bring along you! So you have to suffer along with me in this alternate world! Purely because she made fun of him. She made
so
fun
good.
of him that
so
he
good.
pissed himself when he died. Huge flex! Next flex.
Ooh.
In Attack on...
Mate, I can't wait for Attack on Titan to finish. Like, not as in, like, I can't wait for it to end. It's like, I can't wait to see the end. You know what I mean? Like, this anime journey with Attack on Titan has bin so incredible.
Titan, there is one rule.
Levi's my favorite, man. I've got rid of all my Attack on Titan Funko Pops except for my Levi's. I want all the Levi's.
Is absolute. The Titans are the top dog, and the humans, they are the prey. Now, there is one man. One individual.
The human Beyblade.
Law of nature itself. Captain Levi.
Ackerman.
A man so fearsome that the beast, a Titan with actual...
Oh yeah, he's scared of him.
Get other Titans that can freaking throw rocks with crazy precision. A freaking trebuchet, okay? He was warned. Watch out for Captain Levi. And he's like, bro, watch out for Captain Levi. I'm a Titan. Okay.
Yeah, I don't need to worry about one guy.
This human that's short even for humans is gonna be a threat to me.
Yes. Very much so.
But because he can become a human Beyblade? Because he can become an anthropomorphic fidget spinner and slice up some Titans that have no brain and are slow? Bro, I am the Beast Titan! You think I have to fear Levi? Some random dude? He had to fear Levi. The fact that Levi's reputation precedes him to the point that the Beast Titan has to be warned in advance.
Yeah,
they
warned you.
That he loses to him every single time
Yep.
they fight in the entire story is just one of the biggest flexes of all time. You may think that he's in the 40s. Bro, there are thousands of anime and tens of thousands of anime characters. Top 40 is huge. Next
Flex. Oh, what is this?
one of the most bone-chilling antagonists of all time. How could you defeat a man with the Sharingan on the basketball?
Oh, wow, okay.
Kakashi from Kuroko no Basket
Kuroko no
is a
Basket, right,
terror.
okay.
This man is so dangerous that he can view the muscles in different people's legs, and he can move in certain ways that will cause them to trip. But he's not just badass that he causes them to trip and then he can just
That's pretty
dribble
cool,
past
like, yeah.
No. You want to know why this is a flex and not just a really overpowered character? Because there's a difference. When he causes them to trip in front of him, he looks at them, he stops, and he says, kneel before your enemy.
Yo, and then just...
Actual chills!
Next flex, 44. What is this?
You know the only thing crazier than needing to modify an entire building just for the sake of some really powerful...
Oh, Fairy Tail, okay.
Gildarts does not have that problem. Because in Fairy Tail, they had to modify an entire city in case he approaches. When you hear the bells gong and you hear all of the buildings start to creep to the
I don't remember seeing this. Maybe this happened after where I was up to. God, it's another series I need to catch up on. There's so much anime, man.
And it's just because this one dude is visiting the city. Gildarts is a man so powerful they had to nerf the Fairy Tail Guild throughout the entire series by not having him around. No matter
That's crazy,
what was going
I
on,
suppose.
Gildarts was never actually around for the arc, because if he would be around for the fight, they would always win. This man deconstructs people to a molecular level, turning them into tiny little cubes. They're afraid that if he'd sneeze wrong, he'd melt the city.
Oh, God.
So they have, in the actual city itself, a Gildarts protocol.
Gildarts
so
protocol,
that the city
Jesus
doesn't
Christ.
accidentally crumble when this dude comes for a friendly visit. One of the biggest flexes you'll ever see. Next flex.
43. Ah, okay.
In Log Horizon.
Yeah, so I think he's mentioned this one already. Probably has, but this is the one where he basically forces everyone to join one big guild by purchasing the building where all the currency goes into, basically buying the bank, isn't it?
A TV show about characters that are trapped in a virtual world game environment. I know, very original story. It takes a very interesting turn. Because all of a sudden, the way the game worked is not how it works anymore.
You can't
all of a
log
sudden,
out.
NPCs
Why even have the button
all of
there?
a sudden, you have adventurers that are living in this crazy dystopian world where they cannot die. They'll keep respawning. And another thing that's different, real estate is for sale. In this game, there is a guild building. It is essentially...
Yes, this is why I knew he was going to come. This is a huge flex, like...
all these different missions and all that stuff. It's essential for every single adventure. But it's for sale now. Shiro can buy it. He can make a ton of money. He can buy the guild building, and he can trap all of the strongest guild masters into this one guild building. And since he owns the real estate, they cannot leave the building. That would violate the rules of the world. He traps all the guild masters and blackmails them into joining his alliance. He could have just brought...
Actually, maybe, was it, it might have been Annie News that had it in one of his biggest flexes in Isekai, I think it was that.
To them normally and said, listen guys, I think this would be like the right thing to do, and there would be discussion, some would agree, some would disagree. He's like, no. I am going to buy their free will.
That's crazy.
This is a lovely tribute to capitalism and how it too buys the free will of people all around the world. Haha! Social commentary!
Yay!
Flex!
Jojo!
The man that coined the running away ability of...
Yeah, run away!
Absolute mad lad Joseph Joestar from JoJo's Part 2. This man had a lot of flexes. He took a Tommy gun out in middle of the street just for the sake of blowing up a vampire.
Yep.
Who wouldn't kill him? He knows you have to use sunlight to kill vampires, but he just
did it anyway.
Cut him to shreds with a Tommy gun for the sake of annoying him. That's a big flex, but that's not what we're talking about here. In his final fight against perfect cars,
yeah.
a perfect being, a god among men, he manages to defeat Cars, kind of by accident, by having a volcano launch him into space, so Cars could float around frozen for eternity, because he's immortal and regenerative, so he doesn't actually die. He's just kind of floating there in space for the rest of eternity. Kind of messed up fate for this dude, but this is the flex. Cars said, oh my god, Joseph, how did you...
Oh, I see. Where have I seen this one as well? Yeah, it's like he says, he makes him think that like he had it all planned out this whole time. He's going to spend all of eternity thinking that.
I don't know what to say. How did you actually defeat me? I'm a perfect being. And Joseph, even though this was pretty much all luck, says, it was all part of my plan. You made me a perfect being, but I outsmarted you.
Yeah.
Which he did. It was just kind of an accident.
It was just luck, but
happened.
He's now in space and going to think that forever.
I told you, Cars is going to be floating around in space for eternity, unable to move, completely frozen, regenerating internally. For eternity, the only thought left in his head is the fact that this perfect being was outsmarted by an asshole Joseph. This was an eternal flex.
An eternal flex. Oh, God. Berserk. Alright.
Manga spoilers for Berserk. Griffith is one of the scariest antagonists of all.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Jesus
an actual
Christ.
terror and menace to society. Griffith also contains one of the greatest flexes in the history of fiction. This man is a demon god. He has so much power he can control all of humanity just out of fear alone. He decides, you know what would be better than that? To make them also think I'm a messiah.
Yeah.
To create a utopic world. To open up the gates of hell so an entire universe can be wiped out and completely overcome by demons, except for my country. My country, Falconia. Oh, no. That will be paradise. Yes, I am the benevolent King Griffith, who everyone loves so much. I will protect you from all these demons within the borders of my utopia, Falconia. It's such a nice, wholesome place. It's such a nice, wholesome place. I just opened up hell to make...
Yes, I only opened up hell to make this. Like, you know, it's demonic beasts, things that eat people's flesh. It's all good.
Make it the best place on Earth. Incredibly huge flex. Next flex.
40.
I'm already in the middle of a big battle.
Entering here, the top 40,
One
we got
Punch Man.
ourselves
King.
From One Punch Man. Now, anyone that's actually watching One Punch Man is like, bro, but King doesn't actually have powers. He's been lucky the whole time that all these things work out. Every single time something happens and King gets credit for it, it's not a flex. What's the flex? Ready to hear one of the greatest flexes in anime? King approaches monsters, and the monsters, out of sheer terror seeing the legendary hero King, they're so scared of him. He will stare them to submission. He will look at them and watch them slowly shrivel and die of terror. One of the biggest flexes of all time. Next flex.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
Vinland Saga is a fantastic story.
It's amazing. That second season was incredible as well.
Of kings, wars, Vikings.
Aslan.
A lot of sex for a story with Vikings, honestly. I've seen a lot of Viking shows on Netflix. Way much more sex than going on in Vinland Saga.
Yes, it's true.
Askachad, or Askalad, as the lesser beings call him, has one of the biggest flexes of all time. Spoilers for the ending of Season 1.
Oh, mate, yeah, the way he just pretends to go mental just to save whales.
Askalad walks up to the king, a king who is a pretty powerful individual.
He's a
and
bit of
this
a
is right
twat
after
as well.
Askalad actually ascertained the king's goodwill. He's in a really, really good standing at court. He has everything he could have wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Position, motive. He has places to go. However, he is a little bit indebted to the city and country of Wales, because Wales is where he grew up in. Despite being an outcast and changing his name and all of that, he is actually the heir to the throne of Wales.
Yeah.
He hasn't told anyone this, of course, because that would make him an adversary of the Danish king. Speaking of being an adversary to the Danish king, he's standing before a really ugly king. And I get chills every time I even think of this scene.
Mate, it's so sick.
You don't know who I am, but I am actually Artorius Augustus Castus. I am the heir to the kingdom of Wales. And I don't understand why such a beautiful crown like yours could be on such an ugly face.
Yeah.
The king is just taken aback. Did he just say that to a king?
It's like, wait, you can't say that to me. No one can say stuff like that to me. What are you doing?
He will be sentenced to death for something like that. And in a fail swoop, Askel
Just cuts his head off.
and decapitates the king in front of every
It's so cool.
every soldier and every noble, in front of the entire kingdom.
Then he just fights everybody.
Where he had no reason to do this in the eyes of the king. He was the ultimate double agent without even meaning to. For the sake of the flex, he decapitated this man. And even though all the people in the tavern at that point, they killed him. He took down a bunch of them.
He
on his way
takes down so
Eventually they
many.
kill him. And he knew that. But that line, how could such a beautiful crown be upon such an ugly man? Ah!
And he lets
Chills
he
every
lets
time.
the guy
Huge
kill him.
flex.
Doesn't he?
Next flex.
Yeah.
You should be more careful.
Hisoka from
Okay.
Hisoka has a lot of flexes throughout this series. I gotta respect how consistently terrifying this
He is quite
But
a
I think the biggest
intimidating
is in the
on-screen
tower
presence,
arena
isn't he?
Where Gon leaves the elevator, he's at the higher levels of the
Oh, yeah, so this is the moment where, like, they just can't get past him because they don't know Ned. And he's literally just sitting there, just like, yeah, you're not gonna get past me.
tower. He's gonna get some battles, and he sees Hisoka sitting there on the floor. Hisoka picks his hand up, and without saying a word, Gon cannot move.
Yeah,
This is
they
the
don't
introduction
understand
of
Nen.
the
Yeah,
power
yeah.
system of Hunter x Hunter. And it's done so in the most dramatic way possible, with Hisoka freezing Gon in place and not saying a word. We understand later Hisoka's motives. He wanted Gon to learn about Nen and other means to become strong enough to actually put up a fight, etc., etc. But the fact that he just menacingly
Just stops him.
attacked
Yeah,
and
yeah.
with just his hand outstretched, the absolute paralysis in the protagonist. It was a terrifying moment, and I think one of the biggest flexes in anime.
It's up there.
Flex!
37.
Jin from World Trigger. A
World
very
Trigger.
underknown
I've
anime.
never watched it, yeah, and you have
I
mentioned
don't
it a
think
few
people
times, yeah.
Ever talked about it? I've never seen people talk about it. It's a great show. Shut up. Jin contains one of the greatest flexes of all time, which is why he's so high up on this list. He has something called a black trigger. The power system is
The black
really on
trigger.
this, like chakra-oid power that everyone has, and triggers are these devices that different people use their tree on through to make swords or laser beams
Okay, create
and
weapons
guns
with it.
and all that different cool stuff. Alright, very nice. Now, black triggers are a level above that. They are a trigger that has lore importance that I don't want to talk about right now, but they are much stronger. So
Okay.
Jin has the power to see possible futures. It's an extra side effect power that he has. Let's not get into details. But it makes him always one step ahead of everyone and constantly flexing on anyone just because he knows outcomes to things that would be impossible. The flex he
So it's slightly like Rudius's eye, where he sees like a few seconds ahead just before it happens. Similar.
here is the government kind of realized, yeah, this man is a little too dangerous. He's gonna act on his own whim just because of things that he sees, and he doesn't always feel the need to clue us in. So let's confiscate his black trigger. So they send 6 of their strongest fighters
Oh my
to take
God.
him on and confiscate the black trigger. Are you ready for the greatness that is this flex?
Go on.
Jin beats all 6 of them. He defeats them in combat, and then he goes in anyway to give him his black trigger. He's
What?
like, yeah, I just wanted to show you.
Oh, right,
See
okay.
that? It's like, I'm giving this in for my own free will. Yeah, you're not confiscating this for me. Ah! Ah! Next
Sick.
flex.
I'll handle this.
Oh, Itachi.
Itachi from Naruto. I am so happy to talk about this man. For the longest time, he's one of my favorite anime characters of all time. And he flexes on everyone. His genjutsu powers to overpower
Oh my God, it's
his opponent's
unbelievable.
minds is so strong
Insane.
and so cool. He will never, ever stop impressing me. Every time he gets into a fight, he will make his opponent use an attack, and the attack was accidentally directed at themselves. He flexes on Deidara. He flexes on Orochimaru. He flexes on Sasuke constantly throughout the series.
Yes.
But what I really want to talk about is how deep his flex goes.
Oh.
This is a flex that flexes on the meta level. He's a character that was built up to be the arch nemesis of Sasuke, the second main character for the entire story.
The whole reveal
He
and
was
everything.
The bad
Oh my
guy that
god.
Sasuke was gunning to kill. He wiped out Sasuke's clan. He's a menace, a terror to society. We are going to
He's
take
the bad
him
guy
down.
now.
Every time they meet him, he beats everyone he's up against. He keeps whipping out new jutsu and new powers that you would have never expected him to have. And he is constantly one step ahead of every single person he faces. The first time he actually faces Sasuke in the series, he chokes him, puts him to the series, and he's like, bro, your hate is
And this is going to be a meme now.
Sasuke completely spirals out of control and becomes incredibly powerful. So that when Sasuke finally is up against Itachi the second time, Itachi flexes on him again by beating him to the point that he could draw out the
Orochimaru.
serpent Orochimaru, put it inside of his curse mark so that he could
And then
suck
he's
that
like,
out,
right,
and then beat
that's gone now.
Orochimaru too, and then transfer powers to Sasuke. Because here's the real flex. He lied about all of this. He was actually a noble character, a good
Right, the
dude,
reveal.
someone
Yeah.
that
Oh,
saved
chills.
many lives. But he flexed to the point that Sasuke became an incredibly powerful being. All of Sasuke's strength, and the reason why the world was inevitably saved, was because of Itachi's massive flex that controlled every action in Sasuke's
Oh, wait,
life
that was such a sad moment as
until
well.
his death. Actually terrifying. Actually terrifying! Next
Next
flex.
flex, 35.
Enel from One Piece. Now, I don't like Enel that much as a
Nah.
character, and it hurts to put him above.
He has to come back at some point, though. Like, although, don't... I finished Wano, and then I've stopped reading it, because I don't like reading online. I found I don't like reading online, so I'm still buying the volumes as they come out. I've got 102 volumes of One Piece. And I'm just going to keep buying them, rereading the Wano arc, so that when I do catch up eventually, I'll know what I'm reading. So, you know, Wano was good. NL has to come back at some point, considering the front cover stories for him as well. But is this going to be the whole he's built up as God, and then Luffy's made of rubber, and then it's just like, makes sense. His lightning abilities don't work.
Itachi, but his flex needs to be recognized for the
Oh,
greatness
his flex.
that it actually is. This is a man with a lightning devil fruit. He can zip around at the speed of lightning and turn himself into lightning. He can strike people down with divine smites.
Yeah, very
Realize?
God
Yeah, this is
presence-esque.
pretty divine-like. I am gonna make this entire island nation worship me as a god, because I can hear through the thunderclouds every word spoken in the entire nation. And anytime someone says even something slightly blasphemous, I will
Boom.
strike him down.
Just dead.
Stands. Enel is a man that has become a god.
Yeah, pretty much.
He flexes so hard. They worship him like an actual deity, and that cannot be understated. Next flex.
Okay. Oh ho ho
Roy
ho.
Mustang.
Yo.
As far as nice guys or good guys go, he's terrifying.
Yes.
Roy Mustang consistently scares me the most of every other good guy out there. He is a man that when he gets upset, you want to run away.
Yeah, definitely. Oh
Homunculi
my
are
God.
opponents that are incredibly
Oh yeah, when he just absolutely annihilates by just keep flicking his bloody fire. And it's just like
powerful and incredibly regenerative.
Yes.
You need to really, really crush them down small and obliterate them big time for them to actually stay dead. Now, let me tell you how massive Mustang's flexes are.
Oh.
He beat two homunculi in the same way, except slightly differently, and he flexes on both of them in totally different... I'm gonna mention both of these flexes, okay? First, he's up against Lust, and he blasts her time and time again until eventually she disintegrates.
Yeah, man.
He uses too much fire, and she just cannot recover.
Just can't keep up
The
with
reason
it.
why this flex is big is because he was just stabbed through the abdomen.
Yeah, and he
While he's
cauterized his
blowing her
wound.
he is calmly explaining to her that, well, you know, he almost died from the stab that he had. But he used fire to sear his wounds closed. And yes, it's true, he almost passed out because of the pain. His hatred
But then he's still
far
here.
overcame that. So here he is to send you to meet your maker.
Whoa.
Incredibly powerful stuff. But I think an even bigger flex, and this is the one that's talked about less, is when he kills Envy. When he fights Envy, he does a very similar idea. He sends fireball after fireball, searing Envy's flesh from his very skin, turning him to ash for him to continuously recover again and again until Envy takes his own life to spare himself the agony of actual hell on Earth.
I mean, yeah, making him
so
do
scary,
that.
And I love him so
The
much.
homunculus killed
I
his
wanna
soul.
lick his abs. Anyway, next flex. I guess we're on a theme talking about fire-based flexes because Mario Leona from Black Clover is really, really cool, and I'm really happy she's so high up.
Do you know what? I'm actually catching up with Black Clover because I seen that Soma Gaming had a Black Clover in 37 minutes video. I want to check it out, but obviously I need to watch Black Clover beforehand, and the movie is on Netflix, I do believe, as well. So, yeah, that's something I'm trying to catch up with.
Allow me to tell you something about this lady. She could have been the Wizard King, but she was like, nah, I'd rather just be in the woods and train, become strong, and kill monsters.
Fair.
She's a very scary character, and she's easily my favorite character in Black Clover. Also, by far, she has the biggest flex. I was surprised that she was the only Black Clover flex that ended up on this list, but rightfully so, she's so many heads and shoulders above everyone else. During the elf invasion, where you had all these elves that were reincarnated, and each one of them is so much stronger than a human, like they're incredibly powerful. They're out there, they're wiping out society, they're gonna basically take over the world. Things are extraordinarily
Not in a good way. Not in a good way.
5 elf nobles appear. Incredibly powerful elf nobles. And Merleona, who just fought an elf and won, which was an incredibly massive plot twist that she would actually win by just overpowering him with brute strength. It was insane. She's standing there, weakened, so much energy already released, but she's smiling. She's smiling and staring them down. All of them looking at her, thinking, this one little woman, she's not gonna stand a chance against us. Each of us is so much more powerful than a human. And she says to them the bone-chilling words, through haggard breaths, nearly defeated. Oh! There are only 5 of you! She is so freaking cool.
Sick.
It's insane.
Yeah, yeah.
The shudders that would go through my spine whenever I see that scene. Oh my god! Next flex.
32. Bacano.
By comparison, this might seem not as huge. You're wrong if you think that. Introducing Lad Russo from
Oh, mate, Bacano's so good.
He likes violence. He likes killing people. He likes killing people with weapons that turn them into the bloodiest pulp imaginable. He's happy to walk on a train and kill people and take that mission just because it involves killing people. He's a complete psychopath.
Yeah, he's crazy.
I know this seems subtle, but sometimes the subtle flexes are the ones that really punch me in the gonads. They're the ones that really stand out. Lad Russo wears a white suit at all times so that everyone can see how much blood gets on it.
Great, it's just like,
ah. Be able to see the blood as clearly. This man walks into a firefight, a massacre. He'll go up against people with guns, punching them to death with his bare hands in a white suit. Oh my god! Next,
dude's amazing. Hey, I haven't seen any Gurren Lagann related stuff in a while.
Gurren Lagann's a larger-than-life series, and Kamina is one of the coolest characters that you could possibly find in anime. I am so happy he's here. Spoilers for Gurren Lagann if you want to skip this part.
It's all good. Seen it. We're up to date.
One of the most charismatic characters you will ever see, Kamina, who takes humanity, who's scattered and weakened. Their beastman oppressors, who have giant robots, have been in control of the world for the longest time, and he starts an insane revolution where he's actually taking names. He's kicking butts and he's eating ass every single day.
Hell yeah, eating that ass.
He had started from nothing, but he's actually started a revolution that could win based on pure charisma and balls alone. Kamina dies in episode 6. It's one of the craziest twists to me.
I couldn't believe it, man.
I don't think anyone would have ever seen coming. He dies so early in the series because it's a 26 episode series.
Yeah.
And he dies on episode 6. And he's the best character by a long shot. How did this happen? The flex that is Kamina is his ideology, his passion was so powerful, was such a massive flex. All of humanity throughout the rest of history. His motivation is what pushed them
Yeah, that's
over.
true. Yeah, I give you
He's
that.
the reason they fight, he's the reason they win, and he's the reason why society is okay after the time skip as well. Kamina's ideology alone was so powerful that it created and warped an entire future. Ladies and gentlemen, we have broken the top 30, and oh god, they just keep getting better.
Yeah.
Next!
Let's go.
Jotaro Kujo
Hell
from
yes.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is such a massive flexer. I wish I could spend more time talking about how many flexes this
There
man
are
has,
in-
and
yeah.
how many
Oh
of his
my
opponents are
God.
just completely obliterated by this man. Oh god, I want to talk about his fight with Dio. Oh, I want to talk about his fight with everyone. So there's
But
the obvious
what we
one,
doing
right?
here?
There's the flex against Steely Dan. Steely Dan was treating him like crap for a while, and eventually he had enough. He beat the hell out of Steely Dan,
Yeah.
and then left him a receipt. It was awesome. I don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about Darby. Darby is a gambler who has stolen the souls of everyone.
This was
he
so
knows.
good.
No one knows how he's cheating. He's always winning. Jotaro calls his bluff and sets up a wager so terrifying. Darby cannot speak. Jotaro's bluff is so strong and is so intense. Everyone
Darby's
in
just
the
like,
room
he
is
can't.
sweating.
He
Darby
can't.
ages 50 years over the span of 50 seconds and is unable to continue.
He's so scared.
He loses the ability to move, talk, or continue the game. Jotaro defeats him by bluffing in his own game and doing it
Yeah,
so
he's like,
well
whatever.
that Darby shrivels before him. Yes.
Yes.
Next, flex!
Mate.
Odin from One Piece. This man is one of my favorite characters.
What a
He
legend.
wheedled his way into my heart so
What a
quickly. I love
legend.
him so much. Odin has so many flexes. His introduction in the flashback story is all about how he flexed on different people. He was a terror to the nation. He was sent away. He flexed on other people to join their crew. He swam straight for days on end just to impress somebody while he's being attacked by sea monsters. The Pirate King wants him on his crew so badly. He
Yeah.
fights Whitebeard for him. But for me, the biggest flex of all is his final flex. Tragically, he ends up suffering a fate for the sake
Saving
of
everyone
his entire
else.
nation. He is boiled in oil.
Ugh.
His punishment is to sit there in this vat of oil that kills most people within 5 seconds. And he's sitting in there, carrying upon his head 9 of his most loyal subjects who are also subjected to the same fate. He carries them above him in a vat of oil,
Jesus,
boiling
yeah.
him for an hour. His name is Odin, and he was born.
To boil.
His resolve alone flexed so hard, 20 years later, an entire revolution was created in his name, to the point that Kaido's own child
Yeah.
took Odin as their own identity. Do you see the massiveness of this flex? Because of Odin's flex, Kaido's child wants to emulate Odin in their every single waking moment of their lives. They have dedicated their life to be Odin. Cry every time that this man was born to boil.
Damn.
Next
Yeah,
flex.
that's sick.
Love the kind
Cowboy Bebop.
Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop is easily one of the most iconic anime characters of all time. He's always smiling, even when he finally says bang,
Bang.
and the story ends. I think one of the reasons why Spike is so iconic is because every single time he's on screen, he captures your heart. He's not a happy person at all. However, despite this fact, he puts on the facade, fights every opponent he has with so much grace that they just feel diminished before him. It's almost like he's not taking anyone
Seriously, yeah, not at all.
Spike is really, really cool. And you really need to understand his entire story to appreciate how this apathetic look on the world, and the way he'll look at an opponent trying to kill him, and he'll just kind of roll with it, is just really, really powerful. Talking about this more would not do him justice without you understanding his narrative, so for that, next flex!
37. Ooh.
Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, I am an anime-only Jujutsu
Yeah,
Kaisen
yeah, same.
fan, okay? I'm sure he does crazy things in the manga later, but that's not going to be talked about here. For me, this man is up this high for one reason and one reason only. And no, it's not because he used Infinite Void against Candleface, okay? That was extremely
Candleface.
badass. But again,
It
we're
was
not ranking
badass.
characters on their badassery. We're ranking the size of the flex for 90% of the battles in Jujutsu Kaisen, where the enemies are extremely much more powerful than any of the good guys. I love anime with strategy. It just makes me happy when there's a strategy.
Can't wait for Goblin
each
Slayer
one
to come
is instead of
back.
just, overpowering
This year's
brute
holiday.
force. Strategy is cool, especially when the strategy makes sense. And this time, the strategy made sense. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest strategy in anime is wait for Gojo. Every single
Yeah.
fight in the
Yeah.
series
Gojo
devolves
turns up and then it's
into
all
the bad guy
guys.
trying to defeat the good guy before Gojo shows up, and the good guy just trying to survive long enough until Gojo shows up. This man is such a menace to society that every fight, the bad guy's just trying to end it as fast as he can so that Gojo doesn't show up and kick his ass, and the good guy's trying to just survive long enough so Gojo shows up and kicks his ass. It's the greatest dichotomy you will ever see. I love how scary this man is despite not even being present. Oh my god. Next flex.
Next flex.
Takamura from Hajime no Ippo. This man disrespects his opponents on a whole other level.
Yeah.
He's a boxer. This is a boxing anime, and despite that fact, he beat a bear with his bare hands.
Whoa.
Like, he beat up the bear, okay? All right, now, let me tell you something cool. He wore the bear's skin to the ring to terrify his opponent that, yes, the rumors are true, I killed a bear. And not only that, he then only fights his opponent
Oh my
on the
gosh.
world ring with one hand. He disrespects every opponent he has in the entire series. He is someone that fought on the national Japanese level, became the strongest Japanese boxer, and then changed weight classes just so he can get the belt in a different weight class too. He took this to a national level so he could become the best boxer in the world in multiple weight classes so he could beat everyone. So he would be the undeniable king, and he is disrespecting everyone for the entirety of the series. This man is more creative in how he disrespects his opponents than I am in how I've been making content on YouTube for so many years and how I'm not somehow demonetized or banned off the platform yet. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, he's still surviving. Look, she's still here.
I'm hoping Gojo shows up before I get banned. That's just how I live my life. Next, flex.
Oh, of course.
Sosuke Aizen.
Of course.
This man is very scary. He is someone that everyone thought was just this nice, happy, humble captain
Oh,
for
no.
the longest time, but he wasn't. He faked his death and then proceeded to whoop everyone's ass. And this is scary to even say. He even stopped Ichigo's
He stopped the theme song.
Feat not done by just about anyone. Very often when Ichigo fights, he gets a new power-up and everything's cool. He's really strong.
You've mentioned this in one of your flexes before, like, yeah.
And when that plays, everything goes wild. Ichigo always wins. It's crazy. The theme song goes. He slices at Aizen. Aizen catches his sword, not only shutting up Ichigo, but stopping the theme song.
Oh, music as well.
Rose of its passionate dance. Ichigo is then defeated instantly. Aizen walks through the Soul Society beating everyone. Everyone! This is a man that planned every moment of Ichigo's life to make him as strong as he is, just to flex on him.
Yeah,
okay?
just to be like, I
The
need someone
biggest
to
flex was
test how
stopping
strong
the theme
I am.
song. This meta level flex ruined everything I thought I knew about life itself. Next flex.
Oh, of course. Of course, of
Talk
course.
about one big baddie. Let's talk about another. Madara
Madara
Uchiha
Uchiha.
is really cool. He had one of the craziest introductions any villain ever got. This is a character that was built up from episode 120-something of the original Naruto and was finally actualized hundreds of episodes into Shippuden. That is 400 episodes later,
crazy.
give or take.
Such
and
setup.
He did not disappoint. When he first shows up on the screen, he lands in a massive alliance. He then
chills.
uses
So
basically
cool.
hand-to-hand combat to beat all of them. And then when he's up against the Kage, he drops a meteor on them.
Or that it's like, hey, how about a second one?
He simply says, oh, congratulations, you used all of your power to stop this meteor, but what will you do against the second one? He constantly shows them that he's only using a fraction of his power.
I mean, yeah, like when he's fighting the Kage as well, it's like, so I have my my clones here. Should I use Sasano as well on all of them, or shall I just not? It's like, whoa.
This man's power is so limitless seeming that everything he does is just nonchalant to the point of terror. His introduction alone is one of the biggest flexes in anime. Next flex!
23.
It's the very first thing I told you.
Gankutsuo, the Count of Monte Cristo. I don't know if a lot of you actually read the actual Monte Cristo novel. If you
I've not,
didn't,
and I need
well,
to watch
here's
this,
a bit
but
of a
it's
summary.
fine. I don't mind
Dude
being
gets cucked by his
spoiled.
friends, and he decides, hey, I know, I'm going to build an entire new character for myself. I'm going to gain their trust. I'm going to befriend their allies, their children, and their grandchildren, and then I'm going to pull little strings at everyone's life until everything falls apart.
I love the animation
flex is
style.
that he meets all of them right before their life falls completely apart and said, oh, hi, remember me? Oh yeah, it was me. The whole
Wow.
sake of the story is how to masterfully ruin people's lives and then take credit for it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Count of Monte Cristo anime is no exception when it comes to the art of flexing, and that is why Gankutsuo, the Count himself, is here. Next flex!
Oh, mate. We've
Allow me
got
to
Record of
introduce you to
Ragnarok.
Adam from Records of Ragnarok. Every time I think of this man, I shiver.
This was sick.
He gives one speech, and that one speech...
You know what? I like the anime, man. I like it. But I've not read the manga, so maybe I'm missing why people complain. But, yeah.
is so powerful that it galvanizes not just everyone watching, it galvanizes all of humanity that ever has existed and will exist. Let me set the scene for you. You have a massive tournament. It's called Ragnarok. The gods decided it is time to wipe out humanity. I don't blame him. I've seen
The Valkyries
some
like,
humanity. Y'all are
let's
kinda
give him a
cringe.
chance.
So the gods select a fighter, and then the humans select a fighter. One of the most legendary human beings from all time that ever existed. And they will go up in a battle. Where at the end, whoever has the most wins, wins, and maybe humanity will survive, or humanity will be wiped out, whatever, not the point. In the second battle, you have Zeus, the leader of the gods. And he goes against Adam, the first man. And you're thinking to yourself, alright, okay, so you got Adam, he's this dude, he has a leaf on his junk. What's he gonna do against the godfather of the gods?
He's basically got the shower.
Every time Zeus flexes his muscles, it's like they squash together 6 Dark Souls bosses to create some crazy chimera dude. This man is such a giga chad. They of course have to explain to you his backstory. It's like, oh yeah, you know Zeus, the guy that got swallowed by his father and then sliced him up from the inside to destroy the Titans, and then it goes through all of Zeus's mythology and all these crazy, insane feats he did, and then it shows you Adam. He's his little twink dude, just sitting there, supposed to take on the godfather of the cosmos. It's not gonna go well for him. He's just some dude. But he starts countering punches. He starts fighting back. He starts getting Zeus.
It's so
scared.
sick.
A god scared of a man? Spoilers, but in the first round of the tournament, the dude got absolutely clobbered. He tried his best, but he's up against the god. What's he gonna do? I'll tell you what he's gonna do. He's gonna give a speech to galvanize all of mankind. We all know that powerful men win fights. It's true. But what makes men powerful? For some, it's muscles. Look at Zeus. For some,
Gotcha.
it's morale. Morale is something sorely lacking. You got human beings going up against gods. How are they going to fight? Zeus asks Adam a question. He says, I don't understand. You're putting up a good fight. I'm sweating. I'm scared. The gods are scared. Humanity's inspired. Can you explain to me something? Why do you hate me so much? Who knows what was going through Adam's head? Maybe he was going to say, you know, got me thrown out of paradise or something. Who knows? Who knows? Zeus says again, remind me, you little bitch. Why are you fighting so hard? And Adam looks at him simply and says the following words that echo throughout mankind. What father wouldn't give his life to fight for his children?
Yeah.
And all of humanity watching this fight begins to cheer. It is a single phrase so powerful, so commanding,
That's cool.
that the gods quake and humanity rises. Every future victory taken from humanity is because of the morale inspired by their father. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the biggest flexes in anime. Next flex!
If you won't release him willingly,
Yugi. Yu-Gi-Oh! Sick.
It's kind of ironic that I'm talking about this really
Kaiba.
noble dude, and then I'm moving on to, like, you know, the capitalist
Kaiba.
extraordinaire,
Sick.
Seto Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Such a dude, though.
Kaiba's
Kaiba's
That
such a
is why we
dude.
are here on the Nux Taku channel, teaching you all you need to know about anime flexes and real life. Seto Kaiba, the ultimate capitalist. When he was going up against Darts, and Darts said to him, if you destroy me, you will be destroying all the souls of your friends. To which Kaiba, of course, responds to him, as the leader of a major corporation, destroying souls is what I do every day. He's an absolute madlab. He knows exactly what he is, and he thrives in it. The dude is so vain, he had a plane crafted to look like a blue-eyed white dragon. Do you hear this? In the movie, which I think everyone should watch. I know that a lot of people
I'm not
watched
sure
the
if I've
original
seen
anime when they
it.
were younger. They were like, oh yeah, it was fun when I was a kid, but no, you don't understand. It's still just as crazy. There was a movie called Mons Beyond Time. It came out way later, so a lot of people didn't actually watch it because, you know, we're not kids anymore. We're not gonna watch grown-ass adults playing card
Why
games.
would we do
They
that?
don't even use motorcycles. Why would I watch this? Kaiba invents a time machine. A time machine that he uses to go back in time to beat the Pharaoh in a card game. Do you hear this? The man pours all his resources into building
Just
a
to-
time machine to go
That's
back in time
crazy.
and duel the Pharaoh. This man sends Yu-Gi-Oh cards to space so that if there's intelligent life, he could teach it how to duel so that he could beat them to show his dominance. I could go on and
That's
on.
crazy.
But Kaiba definitely deserves his spot
Oh my
right here,
God.
just shy of the top 20 flexes in all of anime.
That's
Next,
madness. The
flex.
space thing. Ooh, Trigon.
Allow me to introduce you to a man with the highest bounty you'll ever hear. A man so powerful and so feared the people wanted him dead. and all he did was preach love and peace.
I still need to watch this original Trigun series. Trigun Stampede was really good. I really, really enjoyed it, and I hope it continues. Studio Orange did a really good job with the animation and everything. Story was absolutely class. But yeah, I need to watch the original Trigun.
I'm talking about Vash, the motherfucking Stampede. Baby.
Vash the Stampede.
I know it doesn't look like a flex, because we see who he is. He's a goofy guy. He just wants to do the right thing. However, let's look at this from his opponent's perspective, because that's how you could really start to understand how much of a flexer this man is. Vash the Stampede goes around with his massive bounty, taking on whoever he wants, beating them, and not killing them. To them, it's an insult. In a Wild West where you challenge someone to duel and he'll beat you without even shooting you, somehow, that's insane. They'll be shooting at him and he'll be quick enough to dodge the bullets, and then he'll just walk up to the guy and slap him across the face.
Just be like, "Can you
Wherever
stop?
he goes, he makes more enemies because even the people he defeats, he doesn't kill, so they remain his enemies, and it doesn't even bother him. He's leagues ahead of them in every possible way. This man manages to flex on people in every conceivable reality, and he gives them the opportunity to live to be flexed on another day. Next flex!
What is this?
Ladies and gentlemen, I promised you I'd make a video about this guy, and I will. We're talking about Zoro.
Okay.
So, even though no one understands this man, he absolutely has some of the biggest flexes in anime. From beating 100 men at Whiskey Peak, from cutting straight through steel, from standing up to Enel, a self-proclaimed god, all the way until slicing Pika in half in Dressrosa. The man that Kaido was so afraid he had to block his attack, and a man strong enough to block the attack of 2 full-force Yonkos. But that's not the biggest flex he's done. The biggest flex he's done happens when his
Thriller Bark. It's going to be Thriller Bark. This was definitely on one of his flexes
entire
already.
crew is defeated. He's the only one remaining
This is incredible.
standing, all of them suffering so much pain. His opponent at the time, Kuma, sucks all the pain and weariness out of Luffy's indisposed body, about to be turned into a corpse. He has it floating there in a massive bubble, and he says to Zoro, "Listen, I will kill all of your friends. I will take all of their heads, and you can still escape. Or, if you can take all the pain, all the suffering, and all the weariness that's in Luffy right now, and take it upon yourself onto your own wounds, and remain standing, then I will let you go out of respect." He walks up to this massive floating ball of pain and suffering. He, after just touching it once, feels convulsions throughout his entire body spitting up blood, and he dives right into taking the rest of it. Now, this is a flex that definitely warrants him his place in the top 20. The biggest flex is what happens after.
Yeah, he just tells nothing happens. Nothing happens.
Because Zoro absorbed it. Sanji finds Zoro, standing there silently, unable to move a muscle in a pool of his own blood. He looks at this horror story, this horrible scene. He didn't know what happened or what transpired. They were all asleep. They were all on the ground. He says to Zoro, "What happened?" Zoro, without moving a muscle.
Nothing
Zoro
happened.
says nothing happened. Dude, I can't. How am I
so
gonna
sick.
finish this video if I'm already freaking out right now? And we still have 18 to go. I don't know. Next flex.
Oh, yes.
Okay, this one is not as intense
Gilgamesh.
per se. We're talking about Gilgamesh. You know, the Babylonian emperor guy from like 3,000 years ago. The dude that was so legendary, he was known as the only king to own every treasure in the world. Yeah, that's the guy.
Well, he's the first hero ever to be, like, documented, isn't he? On, like, a tablet. So that's where the lore comes in, that he owns everything he existed before all the other heroes.
Ancient warriors are summoned to battle in present day, and they each have superpowers based on their mythologies and histories. Cool concept, I know. Here you got Gilgamesh, a king who owns everything, and the ability to open up these little interdimensional portal thingies to shoot legendary artifacts at his opponents, like a goddamn Gatling gun of legendary weapons. Kinda cool, kinda awesome. Everyone's scared of this man because he can just rain hell upon them. You'll have your opponent be like, "Oh yes, it is me, I have the spear," and Gilgamesh will be like, "Oh yes, well, let's open the
I
skies."
have loads of
It's not exactly
spears.
a fair fight very often, but that's what makes Gilgamesh just so damn cool. I could go on and on talking about why he
Gilgamesh is so
deserves this
amazing.
place. I could go on and on about the crazy battles he's fought and the victories he's won. However, I'm gonna make things a little easier. I'm gonna tell you 2 sentences that he says that are so terrifying that you will understand why he's here. Every single time he fights someone else, he feels entitled to everything that they have.
Oh,
because
yeah.
he owns everything the world has to offer. He doesn't look at them as people. He looks at them as people using weapons that belong to him. He looks at them as dogs and mongrels, people that aren't even worthy of names. You call yourself a king, but all you're doing is using some toys that I've discarded. The swords and weapons that Gilgamesh uses are the ones that he decided are the best of his arsenal, which is everything. Everything that everyone uses by default is second tier, because the top tier are the ones Gilgamesh actually has at his disposal. But here is one thing that I just find so cool, and no one talks about it. And everyone talks about his epic fights and his cool battles, his fight with Ryder, his fight with Shiro, and all that fun stuff. Let me tell you something. It's not only that he managed to survive from one Grail War to the next,
another,
which is
yeah,
an
which was
incredible feat
that was
again,
amazing.
I don't want to talk about because it's not as cool, in my opinion. I'm here for the flex. Want to know a flex? The Grail War is constituted of 7 masters that summon 7 servants. These servants obey the masters, and they fight their battles for them. Gilgamesh is one of the servants, and he is in the archer class. Every single one of the other servants calls their master master, except Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh's master calls Gilgamesh
Master, right? Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, all right. That's a
describe
small
to you
detail,
a
but that's
level
like
of
pretty
balls.
cool. That's
All
pretty
right,
cool.
keep going. That's it. There's nothing. If you don't understand why that is insane, there's something wrong with you. You should probably click off the video because the next couple aren't going to impress you as much as they should. Flex!
Overlord, go ahead.
I'm
so
down from Overlord. Oh, how boned that he deserves to be here. He's just some dude playing
He's
an
a
RPG.
big flexer, man.
He gets stuck in the game and he becomes an Overlord. Now, he can't just tell the world that this person that he is now is just some random guy stuck in a game. No, he has to make sure that everyone knows. So he goes around basically scaring the world to death. He has nothing to fear. He's the highest level. He's in a video game, and he's just going around scaring
he's still a bit
people
cautious,
to
though.
learn
There are
information.
potential
Not torturing
threats
them per
out
se,
there.
but just by being so awesome, so powerful, and so badass that the world around him crumbles. My favorite part of every single arc in Overlord is when you have this entire nation and culture discussing and devising their plans, their strategies.
What are we gonna
their
do?
plans,
We
their
can't do
adversaries.
anything.
You learn about the culture of these lizard men. You learn about this town being terrorized by undead dragon monsters. You learn about so many different political facets of this world for episode after episode, until Ainzul Gaon shows up and shows them all who's boss and why he should be always known as Bone Father. The story's premise is building up facets of a fantasy world so that they could kneel before our Lord and Savior Ainzul Gaon. Do you recognize the entire premise of the story? It's called Overlord. All right, we're gonna keep going. Next.
Okay. Ooh.
Thor
That's all
kills
from
Vinland
Vinland
Saga.
Saga.
Thor kills a big man. A very big man. He's not even the strongest man in the universe. He lost a fight to Thor's. Why is he here? What's the biggest flex that I am referring to? Thorkill stands on top of a bridge and throws entire tree trunks at enemy
He joins the
ships
opposite
to take
side
them
just to
down.
get a decent
Yeah,
fight,
he's
doesn't he?
awesome. Thorkill takes hacks through the snow where he could be tracked so that his trackers could attack him so he could defeat them. Let me
Just
explain.
loves a good fight, yeah.
Exactly how awesome this man is. Thorkill joins the losing sides of wars because if he was on the winning side, there would be
boring.
no challenge.
Yeah.
He joins the losing sides of wars to win the war. Next flex.
Nope.
The
Fairy
Grand
Tale.
Magic Games. So, this is a list of best flexes, okay? Most of these flexes are attributed to individual characters. This time it's not. In Fairy Tale, you have an arc after a time skip, a 7-year time skip, where all the main characters were somehow sent forward in time. So they don't know what's been going on in the world for the last 7 years. They just showed up. All of a sudden, there's this Grand Magic Games Festival. It's this massive tournament between all the biggest wizarding guilds. And, well, the Fairy Tale Guild, since all their best fighters just got warped away for some reason 7 years ago, the Fairy Tale Guild has been getting a lot of disrespect until today. The Grand Magic Games takes place when a lot of Fairy Tale members get into a tournament and absolutely flex upon every other living wizard in the world. Whether it's Kana using a 9,999 attack magic
Damn.
because she got some crazy fairy law stuff. Whether it's the fact that all you have are these teams of 4 and Fairy Tale's guild manages to get 2 teams of 4 in the top 8 teams. Whether it's a monster slaying tournament where every single individual goes in, picks a number, let's say 6, and will fight those 6 monsters, and if they win, they get a certain amount of points. So you have 4 members with this massive castle with 100 monsters. Urza goes in and is like, why would I do that? 100 monsters. You know, she would secure her victory if she said 51. She would do that. But no, she said 100 for the flex of it to defeat all 100 of those monsters. The entire arc is saying Fairy Tale's back. And Fairy Tale's
In a
really
big
good.
way.
The entire world starts to respect and fear Fairy Tale over the sake of these flexes. It is an entire arc based on the Fairy Tale Guild flexing on every other wizarding guild in the world. It deserves this place, and a lot of people hate Fairy Tale, but a lot of people don't respect it enough to get as far as
I should have
Grand Magic
stuck with
Games
it.
and start
I should
pooping
have
your
stuck
diapers
with
when
it.
you realize the greatness that is unfolding before you. Next flex.
Number 14. Oh, Lelouch.
Lelouch. Lelouch from Code Geass is quite the character. He's an anti-hero at best, anti-villain at worst, and he is someone who has gone ahead and flexed on the entire world time and time again. He's gone ahead and created an organization of vigilantes called the Black Knights. He managed to make them so strong, they started getting respect from other countries that wanted to join their side. Let me tell you the gall of this man. So Japan was taken over by the Holy Britannian Empire. And when Zero, Lelouch's alter ego, returns in the first episode of Season 2, he says, you know what, we're gonna do it like this. He sits down in a room and broadcasts that he is alive to the entire world that thought he was dead. And he says, let me tell you something, everyone. This room is not just a room. This room is now a country. You're looking at the United Federation of Japan. He creates a country with one room and no one in the world can stop him. And slowly but surely, he creates an army so powerful, it rivals Britannia, a country that conquered a third of the globe in strength. And then you know what he does? Well, everyone that watched Code Geass and you know the ending, you know the flex. I don't want to say it, but you know the...
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not spoiling it. You gotta have to watch Code Geass. God damn it, it's such a good damn show.
So
I'm telling
sad.
you, you won't regret it. You won't regret
Do
it.
it.
It's such a good show. Next flex.
This is a JoJo reference.
Alucard. Everything this man does emanates flex energy. This dude gave
Also
me
goes
daddy
to the
issues,
fridge.
and he ain't my daddy. Just watching him strut along, watching him put that massive goddamn gun down people's throats and obliterating them is terrifying.
Yeah.
The fact that every single villain in the story either wants him dead or to bone him, it's terrifying. This man one-ups his terrifyingness in every single episode. And you know the whole meme, I'm only using 20% of my power. He's a walking embodiment
Yeah, he
of
is.
I'm only
My
using
God.
20% of
Just
my power.
keeps going
This man goes up
mental at the
against an
end.
entire Nazi zombie army. He unlocks the gates of hell to swallow them whole, and he could have done that the entire time. Every time he struggles, it's because he wants to
It
struggle.
turns out he's
Just-
Dracula.
He could wipe everyone out.
Alucard's
as proven
Dracula
several
backwards.
times.
Woo.
There's a reason why Alucard backwards is Dracula.
Yeah.
And this man is absolutely nightmare fuel. I don't want to spoil much because I want you to experience his wrath firsthand.
Mate, it's
But
so
every
good.
time Alucard grins, it's one of the biggest flexes in anime. Next flex!
Number
I will
12.
not allow my comrades to die.
Kakashi Hatake from Naruto!
Let's go.
Alright, I know what you're all thinking. Bro, what are you talking about? You putting Kakashi all the way up here? Madara summoned meteors to wipe out the Kage, bro. Itachi freaking bodied Sasuke so hard, he trapped him in a life reliving his whole pain and watching his whole clan die again and again and again for eternity in his mind, dude. Kakashi's here?
Yeah, what
Yes,
are we doing?
Kakashi's
This is
here.
interesting.
Nothing will scream flex like Kakashi did in his introduction to Naruto. I know a lot of you don't remember, but when this man was originally introduced, it was awe and breathtaking. The 1,000 Years of Death, I know it's a meme. Oh, he poked Naruto in the butt, which, you know, as an adult watching Naruto, it's a little sus.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
bit
not
weird.
gonna lie.
Bit weird.
But at the time, he goes against these three ninjas, these three seemingly relatively capable ninjas, and he absolutely humiliates them with the bell test. But what I think is even funnier is Kakashi is this dude that uses like 4 jutsu. He uses substitution jutsu, he uses the lightning blade, and then every now and again he comes up with something else. However, he's known as the copy ninja because he can use 1,000 jutsu. He just doesn't. He learned those jutsu for the flex of being the guy that can use all the jutsu. I know that a lot of people don't like to respect Kakashi as much as he did.
It's interesting because didn't we do didn't was it Too Spooky? Too Spooky went through every single jutsu that Kakashi did. Yeah, we checked that out like a few weeks ago, didn't we? To see if it was anywhere close to 1,000. It was nowhere near.
Deserves, but he does. You remember when he fought Zabuza right in the beginning of Naruto?
Hell
And he started
yeah.
copying his jutsus with the water dragon jutsu and all that stuff? It was terrifying and awesome. And he literally did it to psych out Zabuza.
Yeah.
He did it for the flex alone. These are jutsu he could use at any time. He's not actually copying the water dragon jutsu from Zabuza. He knows that jutsu. He could have used it all the time. It's
yeah.
not as powerful as his other arsenal, which is why he never uses it. He did it for the
The
flex.
flex.
One of the biggest flexes in anime. Madara dropped meteors to win a fight. Kakashi used the water dragon jutsu to scare the crap out of the scariest and most deadly assassin in the Mist Village. Just saying. Big flex.
Yeah, that's pretty
Next
big. Okay.
flex!
Oh, mate, yes.
Kurapika. I will tell you this till the day I die. Kurapika is one of the biggest flexes in anime. Hunter x Hunter. It's a serious story.
Hunter x
Kurapika's
Hunter's
one of the
great, man.
people that killed this
Love it.
clan. Every single person in this group is a god level threat. They're all terrifying. They're all insanely powerful.
The Phantom
This one
Troop.
dude, Uvogin. This one dude! He went up against the entire Mafia.
God,
wiped
what
them
a
out.
fight.
This man
Oh.
was paralyzed from the neck down and wiped out 3 of the Mafia's strongest fighters. He bites off one skull, spits the bone like a bullet into the other guy's head, and then screams so loud he bursts the last dude's eardrums. This man is a force to be reckoned
So
with.
sick.
Dracula goes to kill him. Fine. He goes to fight him. Okay. He wins. All that's cool. All that's amazing. The biggest flex is that he brought a shovel to the fight.
Yeah, you've already mentioned this one before. Yeah, yeah.
Done with him. This is one of the biggest flexes, not an anime, of all time.
He
This
already
is
knew he was
just
gonna
shy
win.
of the
I knew he
top
was gonna
10.
bury it.
It pains me that this isn't in the top 10. They're just 10 flexes.
Can't wait to see
just,
what we
in
got
my
in
opinion,
10.
A little bit bigger. But bringing a shovel to fight such a powerful opponent because of the confidence that you will bury him afterwards. Now that's one of the biggest flexes
Yeah, that's pretty
in
sick.
anime.
Like, wow.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the top 10. It's been a long time. We went through 40 huge flexes. You're probably wondering, how could these 10 flexes be so big, they make all the other flexes get put to shame? I am not joking when I tell you this. These are the 10 biggest flexes in anime. Everything that you've seen until here, they're
is
good.
intriguing.
They're great, but they're not as good as what you're about to witness. 10th best flex!
やがて俺の餌として完成を
Yujiro Hanma. Baki the Grappler is a story about a kid who wants to fight and he's a beast and a badass.
Okay.
I'm talking about his dad, Yujiro Hanma. This man is so terrifying. All the women want him. All the dudes want to be him. Literal countries are scared of him
Oh, wow,
because
okay.
of his martial arts. Here's his biggest flex, in my humble opinion. It's not the fact that he clobbered his own son on multiple occasions. It's not the fact that every time he gets into a fight, he leaves his opponent regretting they were even born. It's the fact that an earthquake happens, and he punches the ground to stop the earthquake.
No way.
I think I'm going to repeat that one
That's
more time for the people that
sick.
didn't hear that. There's
What?
an earthquake,
And he
so
punches
he
the ground
punches
to
the ground to
stop it.
stop it. This man took down skyscrapers. He goes against armies. He is a living threat to countries.
God.
But even Mother Nature has nothing on this guy. There are idioms that have been said in every single nation that no matter who you are, how powerful, how rich, how influential you are, at the end of the day, God can smite you. Lightning can strike you. An earthquake can happen. A natural disaster could come and kill you. It's this incredible,
care.
overbearing
Wow.
force, this nihilistic way of looking at life that no matter who you are, where you are, or what stature you're in, it doesn't matter. God will destroy you if he sees fate. Not Yujiro Hanma, though. This man can stop a natural disaster. This man can walk away after getting struck by lightning. Divine intervention will not stop this behemoth. Ninth biggest flex!
Too bad. I'm not interested in dudes.
You all knew he was going to be here, and I'm sure all of you expected him to be in the top 10 before even starting this video. We're talking about the Cape Baldy, Saitama, the One Punch Man. He can defeat every enemy in one punch. You just say this sentence, and it's like, okay, dude, he's
that's
a gag
huge.
character.
Yeah.
He may be a character that's seen as a gag, but that's only because he's so strong, everything in the world is only humorous to him. Him being called a gag character is a flex. Every other character in the universe is not a gag character.
No, that's
they are
true,
living
yeah.
their lives, they are struggling their struggles, they are becoming as strong as they can. Some of them are incredibly powerful, have conquered galaxies, and think no one can stop them. The fact that Saitama can even be referred to as a gag character in a world with so much toil, strife, struggling, and growth is one of the biggest flexes in anime. The fact that the Sea King thinks he's someone powerful. He could take down S-class heroes, but Saitama, without even touching him, he could punch the air next to him, blow his
Just
heart
boom.
out, and stop the
Done.
rain. This man could wipe out planets. I don't want to spoil the manga, but this dude could punch so hard. His punch could go back in time and
I've
defeat
seen-
his
yeah,
opponent
yeah.
before the fight
That's
starts.
insane.
When he's
That is
fighting Genos,
insane.
just as like a kind of training thing, and he punches at Genos and holds his punch back so he doesn't actually hurt
When
him.
everything's
Genos
just like,
doesn't see
"Ooh."
a man striking him. He doesn't see someone stronger than him beating him. He sees and witnesses the face of death. The fact that Saitama can just walk around nonchalantly like he does, and the fact that he is so much stronger than everyone else, is one of the biggest flexes in anime. Next flex!
3年4組担任鬼塚英吉22歳
It had to be said, ladies and
What
gentlemen,
is this?
the great teacher Onizuka. I'm so happy he made it to the top 10, honestly. He's one of my favorite characters, and he does not disappoint. He's a delinquent, all right? He's this dude. He's this gang boss. People are scared of him. He's a scumbag. He's a misogynist. He's basically Andrew Tate, except somehow a role model.
Oh.
Although a lot of people think Andrew Tate's a role model,
They
which
do,
is kind of
though,
scary.
which
But
is
anyway,
weird,
we
yeah.
will digress. Great teacher Onizuka decides he wants to become a teacher in a high school. I know this is going to sound weird, and I hate to praise this guy in the modern culture of the
I think this has been mentioned before, but I can't remember it.
internet today, but he becomes a high school teacher because high school girls are hot, in his opinion. Not exactly the most noble character on this list, but definitely a character, nonetheless. What's so cool is, A, he doesn't actually do anything to any of these characters, okay? There's no sexual assault allegations here or anything. No, we're not talking about that. I'm not justifying his actions. He's a scumbag in many ways, but the reason why he does some of the biggest flexes in anime is because every time there's a fight, every time there's a gang, he beats them. He's scarier than them. And the coolest and craziest part is this person with perverted ideas and terrible morality inspires the people around him. The fact that someone like him can inspire this class and turn them from a band of misfits to people with honor and dignity, that is crazy. And it's well deserving of being up here in some of the biggest flexes in anime.
Fair enough.
Next flex!
We got number 7. Oh, Mob Psycho.
Reagan, the master psychic from Mob Psycho. I'm so happy to mention him. And I know a lot of you guys say, what are you going to talk about, Nux? What are you saying? You're so cringe. You fell off. Your videos used to be better because at least now Reagan's a fraud. If you look at all these other characters that would appear before him, well, you know, you had Madara drop meteors. Okay, that's pretty crazy strong. Saitama could blow up a planet. That's why he's there. Reagan's a scammer. You fool. You absolute buffoon.
Fool.
One of the coolest scenes in all of anime was Reagan going up against this psychic who is incredibly powerful and beat the crap out of him.
Just punches him.
Self-defense rush. Reagan does such a good job bluffing that he's a psychic. People believe him.
Yeah.
He's up against people with god-level powers, and he is a no one. But due to his confidence alone, he can walk through their ranks and take them down. They'll see
This is
him
crazy. He's
exuding
got a way
the
with words,
confidence he
man.
does,
Got a
and
way
they'll
with
be
words.
terrified because they don't even sense his power at all. He builds this reputation where people are afraid of him. People fear him, and they relinquish their status to him. He manages to form a group of psychics working for him because he's some great master. He's so powerful, he can even conceal his powers from other psychics. Reagan absolutely produced one of the greatest flexes in anime. He's a force to be reckoned with, and despite being a man with no powers, he has done so much good.
I love him.
And bad.
He's great.
And I mean, let's be honest, he probably has some cryptocurrencies going on the side that he's pumping and dumping. But anyway, this is not a list of the most loyal and divine, beautiful, lovely characters that I wish I was, okay? This is not a list of inspiring characters. This is a list of flexes. Next flex.
Number 6.
Oh, one away from the top 5, ladies and gentlemen. We got Daddy Shanks from One Piece. One Piece has a lot of characters with a lot of flexes. You've already seen Enel, okay? You've already seen Roger. On this list, Shanks is one and all above everyone. And even though I am the Zoro guy, okay? I'm known throughout Zawarudo as the Zoro guy. Shanks is the biggest flex in One Piece. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a massive war. The Marineford War.
Yes. He just turns up and everyone stops.
You got all the strongest Marines on one side. You got all the strongest pirates on the other side. Head-to-head collision battle. It's the biggest, most monumental event that happens in the entire historical precedent of One Piece from Luffy's birth. This is possibly the most dynamic and monumental battle in history. Okay, probably not, because we don't really know what happened like 900 years ago. But it's
true,
really
we still don't
It's
know.
really important. You got all the biggest baddies on all sides. You know how the war ends? You know how the war ends? It ends with Shanks walking onto the battlefield with his ragtag crew of like 9 dudes. Shanks walks onto the battlefield and says, okay, guys, the war is now over. And
it's like, right, you're done. Can we stop now? Can we stop? You're stopping. You're stopping because I said you're stopping, so we're stopping. Down.
Every side of the conflict immediately laid down their arms. Yes, Shanks is this dude with no fruit, with one arm, but he's so terrifying. His presence alone shut down a war.
Crazy.
And on the way to that war, he bumped into Kaido. You know, he's known as like the strongest guy alive, king of the beasts, really powerful dude. He also wanted to get in on this battle. He wanted to pop in there and start popping heads. And Shanks was like, no, do not proceed.
That's crazy.
To which he listened. Kaido, the warmonger, the one that's trying to get himself killed, was so scared of Shanks, presumably, that he backed down. So Shanks could walk onto the battlefield, pick up his finger, and say, the war ends now. His presence alone was enough to end the biggest war we've actually seen. Chills, one of the biggest flexes in anime. You cannot take this away from him. Next flex!
Number 5.
今宵のイスカンダルは完璧ではないがゆえに
So, I don't think any of you expected him to be here since Gilgamesh just happened, but Iskander, the king of conquerors, definitely makes it to the top 5 biggest flexes in anime history. Iskander is Alexander the Great, known for his inspiring speeches that basically got entire armies behind him that he was able to conquer most of the known world. That's pretty crazy. Every servant in the Fate franchise has a superpower based off their historical thingos. What if his superpower was to summon an endless army of people willing to die by his side? Yeah, that would be a pretty big flex. His charisma alone gave him a superpower that he could summon an endless, undying army. That's kind of crazy. Not gonna lie, that is pretty epic, pretty huge flex, but it only gets bigger. Iskander is an enemy of the other servants. He shows up with Saber, and Gilgamesh is there and says, "We are gonna drink together. We are 3 kings, and we are gonna have."
And just shows it off, doesn't he? As
drinking together. Iskander makes these absolute enemies allies.
What's the word for it? Oh, I'd say overdrive, but that's from Final Fantasy. Why am I even thinking that? I've only ever played 10. Oh, I can't even think what it's called.
They get attacked by an assassin, and Iskander welcomes the assassin to the party. He offers him a pint of wine and says, "Listen, join us. This wine is like your blood. Join our meal." The assassin throws a dagger, breaks the pint of wine that he was serving him, and he said, "Like I said, this wine is like your blood. If you want it spilled, then so be it." And he summons an endless army, trapping everyone watching in an alternate universe where he could flex his might and his charisma to the point that Saber, King Arthur, questioned everything he knew about herself and what it means to be a king, as the endless army of Iskander wiped out his enemy assassin. This is one of the biggest flexes in anime. He shook his rivals to their core, made them doubt their own beliefs, took out an entire enemy force, didn't need to flex as hard as he did, but he did it for the message. It's not about the money, it's about sending the message. And Iskander sent a message down to my very soul. This is one of the biggest flexes in anime, and definitely deserving of making the top 5. Next flex!
Number 4.
Shindobado from Magi. If some of
Magi.
you are new here, you probably didn't expect him to be here. And if some of you are like old-time fans, you probably expected him to be here.
Yeah, I've seen you
My
talk about
praise
some
for
flexes
Sinbad
here.
from Magi is insane. I have only the best things to say about one of the best written characters in anime or manga history. In the Magi-verse, he's first introduced completely naked. He got robbed, he has no clothes, he has none of his djinns on his side that he can help fight. And despite being naked and not being able to summon any djinns, he's able to take out complete-ass djinn users just with his bare hands.
Wow.
He's introduced as someone who came from nothing, but wants to take over the world for the benefit of the world. So what does he do? He single-handedly becomes the most powerful man alive and creates an alliance of 7 nations just so it could be the biggest country in the world and a threat to everyone else. He's like, yeah, I want world peace, so I'm just going to take over the world and there'll be peace.
Sound.
How insane is that? So, as you go through the story of Magi, you meet a whole bunch of characters, all right? You meet some flavorful fellows. Most of the powerful ones, they managed to beat a dungeon. They managed to get a djinn. A djinn is an incredible power source, and it makes you basically the strongest type of fighter ever. Sinbad has 7 djinns, and the only reason why he doesn't take more djinns is because, like, dude, I don't want more djinns. How nutso is that? The second most djinns anyone has is the leader of the Ko Empire with 3 djinns.
Oof.
Like, to show you the level gap between his power and everyone else is insane. He sees through every bird's eye and every cricket's ear in his entire kingdom. And even in his youth, when he starts building his kingdom and getting the 7 nations together, he does it by flexing on their rulers. He'll challenge the ruler to a battle, and then instead of beating the ruler, once he has the ruler on the floor, he'll shoot a laser beam at a nearby mountain pass and obliterate the whole thing and say, okay, this is why you need to be on my side, and to which they always say, yes,
okay,
actually,
yeah,
that is
sure.
true. Sinbad consistently has some of the biggest flexes in anime, and if you haven't seen Magi, you are doing yourself a disservice. Next flex.
Number 3. Oh, Dio.
From JoJo's Bizarre
Dio
Adventure.
Brando.
You knew he was going to be here.
Yes.
You knew that he had to show up at some point. He's not even my favorite villain from the JoJo-verse, but to say that he doesn't have the biggest
Kira's
flexes
my
would
favorite
be
villain as
doing
well.
it a disservice. This man is so terrifying. The entirety of part 3 JoJo's is just trying to find this man, where he constantly becomes scarier and scarier. To let you know how huge of a flex this is, it's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and you think that the story is just following the JoJo bloodline, generation after generation,
turns
from
out
part
it's
1 to
not.
part 2 to part 3 to part 4 to part 5 to part 6, but no, you got fooled. You got bamboozled. This ain't JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This is Dio's Bizarre Fan Club.
Yeah.
Season 1, Dio's the main bad guy. Season 2, Dio awakened other bad guys. Season 3, Dio's the main bad guy. Season 4, Dio's causing havoc by just not even being
With the
around.
arrows
Season
and
5,
that, yeah.
Dio's son is the main character. Season 6 is this priest dude
Mate.
trying to awaken
I love
Dio.
6.
Do you kind of see what I'm trying to get at here? This man is head and shoulders above and beyond anything you'd ever expect to see in an antagonist. I could go on for an hour talking about how hugely he flexes on everyone. He has a coffin in the middle of a room. Some guy opens the coffin to find himself dying and bleeding out in that coffin. Somehow in the split second between the coffin
Wait,
being
I don't
opened
understand.
and seeing what's inside it, this dude was not only killed, but left there to die in the empty coffin. How terrifying is that? You got Polnareff walking upstairs
Oh,
to
mate,
go
that
and
was
meet
so
Dio,
sick.
and Dio says, you take one step and you're toast. And Polnareff's like, please, I'll be totally fine. He takes a step up, and then another step, and then another step, but he realizes he hasn't
Can't
moved. He's
go
on
up
the
there,
same
yeah, yeah.
step. Dio has the power to stop time. Spoilers. So when Dio stops time, he'll walk down the stairs, he'll pick up Polnareff, he'll
Put
move
him
him
down,
down
and
2
then go
steps,
back.
and go back up to the top of the stairs, where he conveniently has a seat sitting there just so he can make Polnareff feel absolutely terrified, and it works. This dude
great.
uses his powers for the sake of flexing, and it is very important to recognize that it works tremendously
Yes.
well. Dio forever will be the king of flexing, and definitely has the 3rd biggest flexes in
What are these
all
next
of
2 going to
anime.
be then? Oh.
Next, Flex.
Oh, of course. Escanor's
I will admit this might disappoint some of you, because I'm sure a lot of you thought that this guy was going to be number 1. He's like the poster
Well,
boy
yeah,
for
okay, so
flexing.
where
I
is
am
it?
talking
Like, yeah,
about
but
the
this is
Lion Sins of
sick.
Pride,
Yeah.
Lord Escanor from the 7 Deadly Sins. This man is so prideful that when he thinks that his captain was killed, and he goes up against the person that he thinks killed him, he's unaffected by his power. What is his power, you might ask? Well, his opponent, Estarossa, has a power that anyone that harbors hatred towards him is rendered completely useless and numb against him. All the other 7 deadly sins they can't even move.
Yeah,
They're
that's how it
completely
works, isn't it?
paralyzed
Right,
because
right.
of how much they hate him, and their hatred makes them completely powerless. Escanor is not only unaffected, but doesn't even
slowly
feel
walks
the
up.
need to worry about hating him, even in his heart of hearts. He has no hatred
Someone
towards
weaker
this
than me.
man
It's like,
that
whoa.
murdered his captain and closest friend. How does that make sense? How could this man be so selfish, so cruel, that he wouldn't even hate the person that killed his best friend? And the answer is simple. When he sees Estarossa, and Estarossa says, "Whoa, you don't hate me?" Escanor answers with a single phrase that forever will shake my very core. He says, "Why would I have any hatred towards you? I merely pity you." This phrase is so powerful, because even in his heart of hearts, he has no hatred towards him, or he would be rendered unable to
Yeah, he
bow.
won't be able to do anything.
He
Yeah.
has no hatred because of how much he looks down at him. How
It's the full
low
reversal
of a
bit
life
as well,
form
which
he's
is so
staring
sick.
at. He pities him to such an extent because of how lame and pathetic he is compared to Escanor that he doesn't even see him as someone worth hating. This is one of the biggest flexes in anime, and the fight just continues. Every single time Escanor gets hit from somehow Estarossa countering his own attack, he says, "Of course, my own attack is the only way to
Hurt
hit
me,
me."
yeah,
Every
yeah.
time Escanor knocks him down, he'll say, "Oh, what's the matter? Did you drop a coin?" The level of audacity and
Yeah.
disrespectfulness that Escanor harbors in his very mustache is telling and terrifying indeed. Nothing will ever come close to the "I merely pity you" line. But throughout
Sick.
the entire series, Escanor continues to flex harder and harder on everyone he fights. Escanor goes up against a god. The anime adaptation is not very good, and you should read the manga. But Escanor goes up against a
Oh.
god, and he says, "You call yourself a god?" How terrifying is that? It's unbelievable that this one man could make me feel all of these things. In his mustache alone, he possesses more flexes than anyone on this list that I have mentioned thus far. And you probably are wondering to yourself, how is there any man that
Yeah,
could
what's
top him?
number one?
Who can top Lord Escanor for the biggest flexes in anime? In fact, I've come to praise Lord Escanor so much. Nuxanor, everyone calls me Nuxanor. It's from Escanor praise,
Right.
okay? That's how much I simp for this man. There is one character that forever will have the biggest flex in all of anime. And I'm sure that this may come as a surprise to some of you. The #1 biggest flex in anime belongs to a different man. Belongs to someone I look up to so much and has shaped my very life through his very flexing. And before getting to it, I just wanted to say thank you all so much for getting to this point. I doubt any of you are actually still watching because it's a very long video. I covered 50 flexes. I was going to do 100 flexes and I came up with the list, but I only ended up doing 50 because goddamn 100 is just too goddamn much.
That's a lot.
If you want, I'll do the next 50 biggest flexes later on my second channel, Nuxanor. So leave a like and let me know if you want that to exist. But anyway, without further ado, best flex. Guts.
Okay.
Every time I see this man, every time I hear his theme song, I get a boner, and it's because of how much he flexes. Let me tell you something. I don't want to spoil Berserk for you, and I don't want you to think that I'm referring to anime Berserk. I am referring to mostly the manga.
Okay.
Guts is a man. Just a man. A human with no magic powers. He's just a dude with muscles and a big sword, and he is up against hell itself. He's up against every possible and revolting thing you could possibly think of, and he hits it
Struggler.
head on. Because of his tenacity, because of how much he cares about people and how much he cares about revenge, this man is pushed forward day in, day out. Doesn't matter if he loses an arm, he'll just replace his lost arm with a cannon machine gun
Hell
crossbow.
yeah, let's go.
Doesn't matter that he wears a suit of armor that impales him so that he can keep fighting. Even though he's in pain, and even though all of his bones are broken, it'll hold his body together enough just so he can keep fighting at his absolute max, no matter how much he's destroying himself. It doesn't matter what it takes for him to do. He will keep doing it. And you know what that thing I'm referring to? That thing that he keeps doing? That thing that he has to keep fighting and pushing forward again and again and again? It's living. He is branded for death, and all of Hell's minions are coming together to try and murder this man, like they murdered everyone he knows and loves, and he will not yield. Guts' flex is bigger than any flexes that I've mentioned until now.
Yes.
Until now, I've mentioned flexes on people. I've mentioned flexes on nations, flexes on wars and on planets and on civilizations. This is the biggest flex in anime because this man is flexing against fate itself, and he's winning somehow. The flex alone is his will to live.
It constantly throws stuff at him and he still keeps getting up. It's such an inspirational, story, man. Just keep going.
Everyone around him was killed. He was in incredible pain and suffering, and he doesn't just live, he thrives and he succeeds. He makes friends and new connections. That is something unbelievable and impossible for me to comprehend. Guts gives me reason to live because of how hard he flexes.
Yeah, man.
And that is why Guts will forever have and hold the biggest flex in anime. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. This is an incredibly long video, but I really do appreciate every single one of you that stuck around until this point. Please leave a like, please subscribe, please let me know if you want me to do another big 50 best moments or whatever. If you like this kind of content, I could make more, and it's totally in your court. I really appreciate every single one of you for being here. I'm super grateful for all of you, and I wanted to say have yourself a most wonderful evening, and remember, keep living, keep thriving.
Stay weird,
keep
fam.
flexing against fate. Stay weird, fam.
Hell yeah. That was cool. Nice little throwback to the old days. The old setup. Different now. Don't have to re-edit the audio every 12 minutes. I used to hate that. Video like that used to be absolutely impossible to put out in a decent time. I used to have to transfer the video file and then resync every 12 minutes. This just captures everything all together and then it just gives me one. Wish I had this back in the day. But that was cool. I can't disagree with Guts being #1. I was a bit confused, but I was like, yep, that makes sense. And that was, like I said, it's nice to go back to old school Mugstaku videos. Anyway, make sure you check out my Etsy shop, link in the description for t-shirts and hoodies that I have designed. And thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video I upload, link in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is all I ask, but chance, greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys, and thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. I'll see you guys next time.